Welcome everybody to our Better Together webinar. This is where Liongard spotlights one of our integrations. And today we are going to spotlight Lifecycle Insights. Goodness gracious, say that 10 times fast. So today I am joined with Bobby Jacobs, Regional Sales Manager at Liongard, and Marnie Stockman, co-founder and managing partner of Lifecycle Insights. And ladies first, Marnie, can you just tell us a little bit about you and Lifecycle Insights?
Yeah, absolutely. So our story starts like a joke. A guy and a girl walk into a bar. I was the girl, head of customer success for a large enterprise company, and we did assessment analytics for education. And the developers and I very much wanted to start a company of our own, and we were looking for a problem to solve, particularly around the area of analytics. So the guy that walked into the bar was my other business partner, Alex Farling, who was an MSP for 16 and a half years. For the record, we just finished playing volleyball. And, I said, like, hey, you're an IT guy. We're looking for a problem to solve. Are there any problems in the MSP space that would need this type of work? And he said he happened to spend 8 hours that day cobbling together, I think that's an industry term, actually, cobbling together, QBR, business review and then he started throwing out all these things, PSAs, RMMs for ISPs and VARs and like all these words I'd never heard of before, but decided that needed to be a thing. So we decided that we would kind of help to deliver the QBRs your clients deserve. And that is what Lifecycle Insights does. So I'll quickly show some screenshots on my way to Bobby's slide, but then I'll walk through it later in the demo. So.
All right. And one other thing, just real fast, a couple of housekeeping things before you really get in there. If you have questions, please feel free to go ahead and pop those in the Q&A or the chat. Even during the presentation, you don't have to wait till the end. I am happy to interrupt people and get their questions out there and stumble them up, especially Bobby. Gotta mess with my coworker here a little bit. So if you got some questions, definitely put them in the chat. And Marnie, go ahead and take it away.
Well, I was a high school math teacher, so you're welcome to attempt heckles at me. Like, I'm all for it, but I survived, so be ready. So I will pass it. Bobby, do you want the next slide up as you introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So, Liongard, we, again, are based in Houston, Texas. Our founders, Joe and Vin, ran an MSP in Houston for about 12 years. And they had a lot of challenges around data and went out to really start more of a cybersecurity company and found that documentation and really just data was lacking so much in the MSP space. You like good access to it. Cynthia worked at their MSP. That's awesome. And so as they started to get into the cybersecurity side, they realized that the documentation and visibility piece was the first piece that they had to tackle. And so, you see this slide here, it's really hard to run an MSP today, right? You have firewall, antivirus, backup, 365, AD, domains, VMs, servers, workstations, all these other things. You have an RMM that hits endpoints, and then you're just kind of left to manage the rest of it on your own. So people are putting in 2FA all day long, logging in different portals, so on and so forth. And so where we pair super nicely with Lifecycle Insights is that we capture that data and put it in one place. And then we are really a data warehouse that systems like Lifecycle Insights can pull the data from and then really empower just beautiful QBRs from stuff beyond the RMM. Because most reporting today for MSPs is RMM and endpoint focused, because that's where the automation has been. And so when you have automation on the rest of these systems, it just changes the way they're able to work. So that's kind of the big picture. We can dig more into it from there.
Perfect.
Demo.
Awesome. So we have a lot of Lifecycle Insights and a lot of Liongard partners on here. So, if you're not using both, I would go do a demo with one of us afterwards, whoever it is, maybe both, and just dig into like, if you don't have both of us, you're missing a piece of the puzzle. And we, I did 3 puzzles last weekend. Fun fact, not a big puzzle person, but I did 3 last weekend. And you have to have those pieces. There's a lot of pieces that look like they go together, but they just quite don't. But us and Lifecycle Insights is a perfect puzzle piece.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned those pieces, because so the first thing we did to solve Alex's problem of wanting to help automate QBR reports, right? So lots of folks are doing business reviews, but literally cobbling together was the words we were hearing, because they were grabbing data from multiple data sources. So part of what Lifecycle Insights did was integrate with what we believe should be a source of truth. So your PSA typically, although we also have IT Glue. So that top row that I'm showing right now is where we pull integrations from. So Autotask, ConnectWise, Manage, IT Glue, Synchro, Halo, PSA. As we did this, before we even thought of the Liongard integration, we found something, and that was that Liongard partners had better data quality right out of the gate. So I'm going to dive in and actually show you what it looks like and what I mean by better data quality. And then Bobby will talk about kind of what happens on the Liongard end, and then I'll come back and show you the specific pieces that you get added to it in addition to just better data all around. So this first piece that I'll do, I'll just hide that. How about I make that bigger so you all don't have to wonder what size monitor I'm working on, because I know you're all looking at 6 different ones at the same time. All right, so we pull data from your PSA. This is because things like Liongard go clean it up and put it all in one place nicely, instead of trying to grab it together where we get duplicate data. So that's hands down what we found when we pulled information from PSAs, is that people would tell us they were missing data. So they were also often missing things like warranty lookup data, end of life data. And if you're trying to create a budget forecast for your client so that you can have a really strategic conversation, you have to have that information. So in addition to pulling data from one of those integrations, we also do warranty lookups on Dell, Lenovo, HP, Microsoft Surface, Cisco, Meraki, and SmartNet. And we found that doing those data lookups, if you'll see here the data quality score, as I click through my clients, they will get updated data quality where you can really dive in and determine where you're missing any data. And one of the definite features and functions of Lifecycle Insights is that we point everything out in red, yellow, green, where red is bad and green is good, and blue is where you're missing information, so that we can point out very quickly for you where you're missing pieces. And as I said at the beginning, we found that our Liongard partners, again, before we had even talked to Liongard, had better data quality right out of the gate, because there was attention on getting the right information in the right places. And so we knew that there was a better together message before there was even a partnership. So let me show you what we built originally. And then, like I said, I'll come back and show you what you get as an added bonus in addition to better data quality. So we pulled all of this information so that you could build your components for a quarterly business review. Every single framework out there, NIST, CIS, CMMC, Australian Essential 8, like all of them have that you really need to do asset lifecycle management. And that was where we started. Like I said, we do everything in red, yellow, green reporting, but that allows us to have a special feature called swatching, which means that I can kind of pivot table these reports without having to pivot table. So I can ask questions like, where do I have warranties that are expiring? So if you look at my warranty column, I'm going to unswatch the blue and the green. So I have all of these expiring warranties, but if I look to see where my devices are not at end of life, this is telling me, okay, maybe I need to go buy manufacturer warranties for these assets because the machine's got a lot more life on them. We then, and this was the part that Alex struggled with when he had the idea for Lifecycle Insights, is before he struggled with creating all these reports to have a similar look and feel, so it looked consistent for his partners and his clients. So all of our reports download in the same format, so they look like one company has built this for you. So you can download the reports and ship to your clients. So lots of reporting around assets and users. Let me jump back into creative
I love
designs.
that ability to like just drill down right into what you need to know. Like that's so slick.
And you can update within the platform. Like I'm definitely high leveling it here because you guys did not give me the 7 hours that I asked for to show all of the button clicks. So with about 7 minutes, but you're right. The point is to be able to quickly find the information, share it out, drill in, get detail, add detail, etc. So here it's the same type of thing, but imagine if you could say who is not in ConnectWise, who's red, but they are in Microsoft. If you have expired licenses out there, this is a threat. Like this is not new news to an MSP that you cannot have licenses that are just hanging out with passwords for somebody that hasn't logged in 6 months. So we give you fast insights into that reporting, like shadowing, like spoiler alert, wait until you can see what we can add to that with the Liongard component we added. So we also pull contracts from ConnectWise Managed. We just released that last week. So some of the life cyclers on the call might say like, hey, that's news to me. And all of this is with the intent so that you could build a budget forecast for your client to really dive in and tell them when assets are due, expiring, et cetera. So it really tees you up to be a strategic partner with your client as opposed to just walking in and doing all tech talk that sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher in many situations for them.
It seemed like an excellent opportunity for a sound effect.
You've definitely been practicing that.
I used it in the classroom quite a bit as well. So that was piece one, is a lot of the reporting. That's the piece we automate. The piece we do not automate is around assessments, which is a completely flexible assessment platform where you could ask questions that you've designed. You could put CIS in here, CMMC, et cetera. I'm just kind of showing you one of our default assessments that the majority of our folks start with. And this report really dives into the business pain. So again, if you don't want to sound like Charlie Brown's teacher, oh, what's new in Word? I don't think we want to know what's new in Word right now. Thank you. I think everyone on the call is interested in what's new in Word, but maybe we could wait 7 more minutes. So the beauty of the assessments piece is, again, this is about business pain, not about what flux capacitor or gadget has gone bad in the system. But where's the red? It's in hardware. Let me drill into the page where all of the questions around hardware are. It's very obvious to your clients, red is bad. We need to get the red out. And how do we do that? And we have an appendix in this report that will allow you to dive in just to the red items and make project recommendations right within the platform as well. So you can really tee up projects that help them improve the health of their assets, et cetera, which really is improving their business as well, which then they're willing to come to the table for this conversation if you can show them the value add you bring to the party. So we highly recommend you scheduling business reviews with everyone. So we give you a calendar to allow you to do that. Now we call them QBRs because the industry, i.e. Google search engine optimization, forces us to, when really they're not always done quarterly. They're sometimes done annually, semi-annually, right? You may call them TBRs, but you definitely don't search it as much as QBRs. But this really allows you to focus on when you need to be having those conversations with the clients. And the last thing I'll say before I pass over to Bobby, knowing full well that I've skipped half the buttons, but I promise to just highlight, is that our ultimate goal was to help you create a scalable, supportable process that you could repeat over and over. So we've recreated Report Builder, which allows you to stack whatever components you would like, because we don't think our platform should force your process, right? We think your business review process is part of your DNA. So you should build what you want to have as your process. But I do have kind of Alex's favorite template, so I can show you that I can present each of the components. Now you can download this into a Word doc. That's what Alex used to do, and he would bind it and deliver it to his clients. But since, as we discussed at the beginning, many of us are still doing this virtually, we've eliminated the need for you to cut and paste into a PowerPoint slide deck because that is just, no MSP likes to do the same work twice, and cutting and pasting into PowerPoint slide decks is a painful proposition. So the beauty of this is we give you a presentation view that still functions as though you're in the platform. So to your point again earlier, if we want to dive into the details, you can do it right inside here without being where they can see all the bells and whistles, right? You just focus them on their business review.
That is awesome.
So
Definitely solving a big problem for MSPs. That's really cool.
Yeah. So I'll stop there for a second and say, so
All
Bobby,
right.
for the life cyclers on the call.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And
Roar.
you know, something that we hear our partners ask about a lot is reporting, and there's a lot of different types of reports. And if you're a Liongard partner, you know that like you can use our data to do a lot of things, but like nice, pretty, beautiful reports is not what we do today. And so, yeah, having this type of QBR, you know, if you will, view is huge. It's so cool to see those colors. You know, colors are simple, but that's what you're looking for when you're meeting with your partners. You know, I'll share my screen and show Liongard real quick. And you certainly could do a QBR out of Liongard, but it's not ideal. Like no one wants to walk into a meeting with a prospect, or sorry, most likely a partner, and go in and say, hey, let me show you all of your Active Directory, and then have to, you know, go through like all this data, which doesn't really mean anything to your end users. And so that's where that partnership is awesome. But from your tech side, that's where Liongard really comes in. Like we want to exponentially change the way your service desk works and make them exponentially more efficient. And so, you know, the quick on Liongard here, you'll see that this is kind of a homepage for a customer of yours. So you'd see the systems that we're automatically inspecting because, again, big picture, we're pulling in data from all of your customers' major systems every single day, creating a historical record and doing change management. And so a lot of best practices for documentation in the industry would say that you should spend 20 to 40 hours onboarding a customer initially. And that's to get the type of data that you're looking at in Lifecycle Insights, ideally. But the challenge is, one, 20 to 40 hours is a lot of time to get super deep user info and configs and all that type of stuff. But it's not like you do it once and you high five and walk away and now it's super easy. Now you're on the hook to do it over and over and over and over again. Because if something's 3 weeks old, you're not going to trust it. And that's where it really is just this manual, impossible rat race that most MSPs are in, which leads to just not doing documentation because that's the better option given those two choices. So with the third choice of automation, it changes the game. And so now you can go through and see domain data, 365, again, firewalls, antivirus, all this stuff in one place. This is a nice overview page here. And then if you want to dig into something deeper, like Office 365, you'll see just an incredible amount of data. Secure scores, something a lot of people probably aren't focusing on today in Microsoft, but you should be. Not easy to keep up with Microsoft, but if you look at it in Liongard, we can show you all the areas that Microsoft is saying that you have in breach and go fix those things. Again, this is great for your service desk, probably not the view that you want to show your end customer, right? And so that's where kind of the difference here is as far as the value, but Lifecycle Insights and Liongard are both relying on the data. And that's, you know, I think where this partnership just comes in, and it's really cool. On top of that, you know, real quick, you'll see like our historical timeline here. So this is where we're pulling the data every single day in that 20 to 40 hours per day per customer that it would take to do this stuff manually. And then when major changes happen, like you can see there was a change here on the 31st, we'll highlight that for you. So that change management is incredibly powerful. You know, if you were to go do that 20 hours of documentation, but then think about combing through all the data from the day before and highlighting those changes. Like, you know, I could probably say Liongard's going to save you 2,000 hours per month. And I could back that up. But the reality is you're not spending 2,000 hours per month, right? You're probably spending very little time doing this. And so the flip side is that MSPs are flying blind and just don't know what's happening.
Yep.
So, you know, if I click into the changes here, you'll see all of these users were removed. Maybe that's something you didn't know about, or maybe it's something your team did, and now they know Liongard's going to come behind them and document it and show the change, and they don't have to worry about documenting or remembering it. So when someone asks them, or, you know, maybe they're on vacation, right? And someone calls them while they're on the beach, and it's like, hey, this user isn't here. I think you probably changed it. You know, that stuff goes out the window when you have the automatic change management.
Yeah, the amount of time savings is huge. And to your point, time creation, right? Because you didn't have time to do the work, so you're actually more efficient and effective. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, you can be proactive on the stuff you care about. You're not, we talk to people all the time that are like, yeah, I have a full-time person doing this type of stuff today, and it's still not good. Right. So imagine like what that other person could be doing and the rest of your team. And so yeah, a lot of different pieces there. But that's kind of the short and sweet of it. A lot of other things we do, alerting into PSAs. Often any of this data is like kind of the next big thing that we focus on. Once you have standardization, then we can alert on the stuff. And again, that's more for your service desk. Like those aren't alerts that you're going to send to your end user. It's kind of just a different use case there.
And also good data for billing as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do billing reviews and all that type of stuff, whether it's in Liongard or Lifecycle Insights, a lot of different ways to dig into that stuff.
Sorry, I did the billing for the MSP, so that's my favorite part.
Yeah, I mean, you can go in and see licenses per customer, licenses by type. You can look at it across all of your customers. You can alert if there's licenses that are unassigned, on disabled users, just like Marnie was talking about. Like that kind of stuff is super important.
Awesome.
That's like a great segue to what we've added some color reporting to with the Liongard integration.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's where, the stuff that we're doing with y'all today is super powerful. And as we continue to grow this integration and we get more and more systems that we're pulling the data on, it's just going to get even cooler.
Yeah.
All right. So Marnie, I think you mentioned showing us another piece.
Yeah, I would love to. So
Bobby, I'm not cutting you off, am I?
No, that's great.
Okay.
I mean, I could, like Marnie, I could go for
Right.
hours, but that's kind of the quick piece of it.
All right.
That's not what we promised all of our attendees.
All right. Are you seeing my screen again?
Yes, we
Yep.
sure
Or
are.
a very messy what is that called? Desktop. All right. So what I wanted to show here is there are two pieces that if you have Liongard integration, this is something that nobody else would have. And that is in the asset list. Two of the things that Liongard pulls over that we don't see elsewhere: Chromebooks and mobile devices. So you get your all the mobile machines in as well. So that's a pretty huge lift. But the biggest piece that we had a lot of folks ask for, and I mentioned Mark, who's on the call, he joined us with a couple other partners to talk about when we built the first iteration of this partnership, this integration, what would be the first thing you would like to see? And the last time I showed the user list, if you remember, I had Microsoft next to, my PSA. Here, I have the ability to pull over AD, G Suite, the know before phishing scores. You can even upload your own, as well as all of these other, fields about where MFA has been disabled, last activity suite, the know before phishing score, and prone percentage. So suddenly what a healthy user looks like, which would be all green, not disabled MFA, right? And a phishing score that's appropriate with 0% prone percentage is really, what a healthy user looks like. And with so many conversations around cybersecurity and ransomware attacks, et cetera, this data is becoming more and more valuable. When we first built this, we saw folks using the user list once or twice with a client just to refresh pieces, but now it's really a regularly updated piece of information, and they can look at it quickly, right? You can just quickly narrow this down to say, like, I need to know everybody that has disabled MFA, and we're going to print out that report and roll with it, have a conversation around that. So the Liongard integration very much gives some highlights of data that is just top of mind for both businesses and MSPs today.
Yeah, and then on top of that, every tech stack is a little different, right? To what PSA you're using and RMM and firewalls and AVs and all that stuff. And so that's, another reason to definitely schedule a one-on-one demo with both companies to go through kind of the specifics of what it'd look like for you.
Okay, and Nicholas was asking what connections can we get and expect with Liongard? I'll actually find that link, but if you want to maybe highlight some of the major ones.
Yeah, Marnie, do you want to talk about the integrations that Lifecycle Insights pulls from? Nicholas, was your question what data pushes into Lifecycle Insights, or as a whole, like what does Liongard pull?
I felt like, wow, he did want the 7-hour answer from Liongard. If you want some connections, you guys will from.
What Liongard pulls? Okay,
Yeah.
so we have 67 production level inspectors today. On average, it's about 7 hours. Nice. On average, it's about 20 to 25 inspectors per customer of yours that we'll be pulling data on. So the big categories: firewall, antivirus, backup, 365, AD, domains, VMs. We hit individual servers. We do a network scan. We do a dark web scan. Those are kind of some of the big stuff there.
And also, Liongard has a special offer for Lifecycle Insight customers. So if you have a completed demo with us, we will give you a $50 Amazon gift card. You can get all your candy for Halloween or your costumes.
Yeah, Nicholas, that's why you don't get the 7 hours right now. Wait to go sit on the demo.
Exactly. And Marnie, anything that Lifecycle Insights is doing right now? Oh, I just saw it. Oh, go back.
Yep.
Go back.
I was a very fast clicker today.
All right, there we go. And so any Liongard partners that aren't currently using Lifecycle Insights, they are doing a free 30-day trial, and you get $50 off for the first 2 months. And their pricing is really reasonable. It's great. And I think we can probably, if you sign up with both of us, I'm sure we could both go ahead and throw in those specials for you as well.
Well, 100%.
All right. So got a couple, like 1 more minute, actually, it looks like. Any more questions? Nicholas Roy is going to win my award for most active webinar attendee. Anyone else have anything else?
Nice.
That is awesome. Oh, thanks, Alex. You tried to do a great job. I hope y'all didn't hear my cat meowing. He's very demanding.
No way.
All right. Okay, well then just let's leave them with like one takeaway, Marnie and Bobby. Bobby, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about having partners that are right for you. And I think with where the MSP space is today, Lifecycle Insights and Liongard are, I think really on the forefront of how MSP should be thinking and working.
And I think we could both advertise with better data makes better insights, which makes better business, right? I think that is really kind of a core value for both of our companies.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I agree. Perfect words to leave on. And like I said, we're like peanut butter and jelly. We just go right together and better together. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you so much for being here with us. And we look forward to seeing you on a demo soon. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.